And there's Negan Killjoy, which means it's Thursday night, and it is Loot Shooter Weekly. So,
Hello.
welcome to Loot Shooter Weekly. I am gamertag Burt R3ynolds. This is my co-host Negan Killjoy.
Hello,
Yeah.
Bert. How you doing
Hello,
tonight?
Negan. I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
Doing good. Had an interesting day at work, so tonight I'm back in the mode of looking forward to my beer.
There we go.
Not needing it, but looking forward to it.
Okay. So we have room to talk before we have to get into the beer section of the night. Is that...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm not going to be
All
over here shaking, waiting for my beer.
Okay, good. So we're playing Borderlands tonight because we got Borderlands got a new DLC today. Which I'm gonna let you say the name of, Negan, because I never get it right. Never ever get it right.
Psycho Krieg and the fantastic Fustercluck.
There it is. There's the name right there. Yeah, so we're gonna play that tonight. That's really actually gonna be the show tonight. We're just gonna dip into that for the first time. We've been saving it. We haven't touched it at all.
Not.
And it looks like we're gonna invite in the Ghostmaker as well. And he's gonna join us. So let me go find
Ghostmaker.
him. Still loading. Okay. Well, I'll shoot you an invite. That way, when you get there, you'll be ready. We're gonna play that tonight. And so far, I mean, the big news about it is, of course, that, level cap went to 65, 5 more skill points. Matters to some characters more than others.
Yes, it does.
Allegedly, this will be the last level cap increase for the foreseeable future. So maybe we can farm and not feel bad about it.
not feel like we have to reset in 3 months.
Right. Hopefully. Yeah, that would be nice if it is actually the last level cap for a little bit. So we're going to go in blind to this tonight. We're not, doing anything else. You had some other news from today about some other games that we play again, and so I'm going to have you cover that real quick. Or do you want to do beers first? I want to be respectful of your
my desire for a beer.
Your needs.
Well, let's go ahead and at least introduce the beers. Get that started. Since
your
you biological
needs. I don't want you to have the shakes while you're talking.
That's right. That's right. Don't want to stutter over anything more than I'm going to normally.
Am I up first this week?
Yeah, you get to go first this week.
Okay. I am going to do a stout. It's cold here, actually. It's in the 50s here already.
You sure you're feeling okay? Because you're in a short sleeve shirt, looking like it.
I'm feeling okay, but it's cold outside. This is So Hopped Brewery, which is in Huntley, Illinois, which is one town over. And it's their Borden Street S'mores Stout.
S'more Stout.
So it's dark. It's a dark chocolate milk stout. Pretty light on the alcohol content. It's not that could be a heavy hitter, which is good. And their little thing on here says this s'mores version of our Borden Street Stout combines earthy malts with your favorite summer flavors like graham crackers, chocolate, marshmallows, and a smoky campfire. The dark chocolate finish offers subtle sweetness of smooth milk stout. Enjoy this one by the pint next to the fire. So yeah, there's that. That's what I'm gonna drink tonight. How about you? What are you doing?
Are you actually gonna start a little fire in there and have some fun downstairs?
I'm gonna start my house on fire. Yeah, seems.
It says it right there in the beer. You're supposed to enjoy it with it next to a fire. So
seems like a wise idea. Nobody will protest that.
No, absolutely not. It's all true. Bad choices would be made if that was the case. So the beer I am going with tonight, and I'm going to apologize to anybody who speaks Icelandic, because this is an Icelandic white ale.
So you're going to apologize to Ghost then?
Am I apologizing to Ghost, who speaks Icelandic?
He speaks Icelandic. Pretty sure.
I'm mainly Afro-Scandinavian, but a little bit Icelandic.
Well,
There you go.
this might be in the realm. It's called Einstück, is what I think it's called, because it got
Nope,
the O.
wrong. Nope.
Wrong?
Yep.
Am I wrong?
No.
You gotta have the
Yep.
Stuck?
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
All right. So that's what I was going to go with that one, but I thought that was kind of snobby. But Einstück, Old Gerb.
This has gone badly.
It did quickly. So I knew I was going to slaughter it. I'm not even going to try to say where it's from because it's brewed out of Iceland. So it's an Icelandic white ale. It's brewed out of Iceland. And it says, our quest was simple. We wanted to make the best white ale we ever tasted. We got there with this complex flavors of classic wit beer, including orange peel and coriander, all brewed with pure Icelandic water. See, I got Icelandic. I know I can say that right. And a touch of oats that deliver a cool smoothness that is unique, flavorful, and refreshingly drinkable. So there we go.
So that came all the way from Iceland during the pandemic. So you like your beer fresh.
I like my beer fresh. Yes. I'm not sure how it got here or how we found it, but yeah, there it is.
You like your beer fresh.
Super fresh.
Really fresh.
Super fresh. Couldn't get any fresher than imported from Iceland during a pandemic. And man, if I could show you what the brewery was called or where it's from, holy moly, there's a lot of letters.
Are most of them consonants or a lot of vowels?
It's actually 50-50, but it's a weird-ass mix. You always expect the Chinese with a normal language, but this Icelandic language and Scandinavians, I don't trust them.
You know me, I'm Swedish, of Swedish descent, and we like our crazy letters, and we also like to use a lot of umlauts. Gotta get the dots in there, man. Gotta get the dots.
They said the dots.
It's not a word if it doesn't have a lot of dots in it.
Dots and little squiggly lines and shit all above it, all that good stuff. Yeah.
Squiggly lines are
more Spanish and stuff like that.
Southern hemisphere, my friend. That's not. Gotcha. Swedes don't use squiggly lines, just dots. Lots of dots.
Just dots. Back in the day when they were coming up with their language, they couldn't figure out how to do squiggly lines, so they did the dots.
We like dots, vodka, and death metal. That's basically the thing, right? Lots of dots.
Metal, that's right.
Lots of death metal. A little bit of vodka to fuel it all.
Yeah, there's actually, I'm going to say this, I don't remember specifically, but there was a big murder case that was back in Iceland and stuff with the whole death metal and satanic metal genre of music for a while. So, just FYI, in case you get bored. But speaking of, murders and stuff like that, which is a really good segue for Ghost. What's Ghost drinking tonight? Which I can probably guess, but give it a shot.
No, I'm embarrassed for you guys. I'm just having Bud Light.
Oh. All right.
So,
with Johnny Walker.
Somebody doesn't have the DLC installed.
That would probably be me.
So for you, Negan, you're getting introduced to a new character here because you've not played Borderlands 2. And I forget, you didn't play any Borderlands 2 either, Ghost, right?
Correct, I did not.
Yeah. So Krieg is obviously was a playable Vault Hunter in Borderlands 2, so we get to go into his mind. Into his mind.
Yeah,
you were going to cover some other games though, Negan, that you said Ubisoft, who makes many of our other favorite loot shooters and shooters, had some stuff come today that meant some changes. Yep.
So they had what they called the Ubisoft Forward event, and they talked about a whole bunch of their games and stuff like that, like Assassin's Creed and stuff like that. But specifically what I followed or looked at was the Breakpoint news, and they also did some news for Division 2. The two other games that we played here on Loot Shooter a couple times, and we're going to get back to Division 2 a little bit more. But first, speaking of Ghost Recon Breakpoint, they're calling it Episode 3, and it's going to arrive next week. And with this one, they are bringing a whole new thing called Red Patriot, where it is you apparently try to stop some bad guy who's going to attack the United States, which you obviously can't have as a ghost, and all that good stuff. So they're doing that one. They're doing it. It's like what they call a branching storyline with optional mission objectives that encourage a variety of playstyles. So it may not be a straight linear story. It apparently has different versions of it as you want to. You go back and forth. And there are also a new class called the Pathfinder and some stuff to Ghost War PvP. So I thought it was interesting that they're dropping some pretty new content next week, along with everything, some other stuff they announced. But that is, if you have the season pass, you get it all at once. If you don't have the season pass, you get the first 2 missions, and then you have to obviously. They're trying to get you to buy the season pass, which is obviously, and I believe the season pass is 50% off right now.
You said currently on sale, yeah, right?
Currently on sale, so that's kind of nice. So I think it's worth it. I think for the download like that and the new content like that, and it's only $20. That's what are we doing in here? It's kind of crazy.
Oh, we're paying another $30 and play the new Call of Duty where they're doing the same thing like back in the 80s.
So what do you mean by that? I don't play the Call of Duty stuff.
The Call of Duty's coming out with one. It sounds similar to it, but it's based in the 80s. Think War Games with Matthew Broderick.
Oh, okay.
Ooh. Yeah. Like the Russians and Ronald Reagan is the main protagonist. I don't want to say protagonist, but narrator, like Kevin Spacey was back in the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, maybe.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting. So that's what they're doing with Breakpoint. I thought that was some interesting news from Breakpoint. Like I said, drop it next week for that. And then the other news, and they're like I said, they're calling that Title Update 3 for Breakpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And then for Division, we talked a little bit about mostly about it last week. Was the Division 2? They announced it's dropping on the 22nd. So
and that's skyscraper mode, right? Is coming with that? Is that true?
Right. Yeah, they're calling it anybody who has the Warlords of New York. Yeah, they're calling it Summit. Is what the official name is.
Summit.
Yeah. The 100 floors of good old-fashioned fun time shooting things.
And that's very much like Underground, I think. I mean, as I read it, it reads to me like Underground, which I'm pumped about. I'm really pumped about that. Procedurally generated levels and...
Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews from the PTS. The PTS says it can get kind of repetitive, which the Underground did at some point after you played it quite a bit, back to back.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think with 100 floors, I can't imagine it getting too terribly repetitive, and it keeps getting more and more challenging as you go up the floors. So I can see floors 80 through 100 being quite the challenge. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But they announced that. They also announced. So they actually officially announced the 22nd was when that dropped. So you have the 15th for Breakpoint and the 22nd for Division 2, which also brings along all the other stuff with Title Update 11, which includes the gear and rewards will be changed, or the gear colors will be changed. So when it drops, won't necessarily drop rainbow as much. It'll drop color coded to the core attribute. So they're doing that with the gear drops, and they're doing the transmogrification, which I always slaughter that one too, which you can make your gear look like any gear you want it to.
Yep.
It's kind of nice, which people have been asking that for a while. Yeah, core attributes, the players have a higher chance of finding the attribute they're looking for within that color, which is what they're doing as far as that stuff. And the big thing...
I think the most important one is mods are no longer be locked to a certain color.
There you go.
On your
agnostic
armor.
mods, as they call them, yes.
Yeah.
Most important one would be mods don't take up backpack space.
Well, you can't have it all. They can only give you one thing at a time. That's how they keep you coming back, right?
But the locking mods to an armor piece, like a mod type to an armor piece, sucks because some of them don't make sense, right? Like
that plays into my point, though. If you lock your mods, it takes it out of your backpack.
That's true.
Right? Which frees up your backpack space. Correct.
Yep. Yeah. But the thing is, like, today it's like, I mean, certain sets only, there's like, I forget what set it is that drives me crazy on it every time, but it's a set that's pretty much always used in an assault style build, right? Like what you would do, like an all red build or a 5 red, 1 blue build.
No, it's green.
No, that's an actual gear set, but this is like, and it's not Walker and Harris, but it's one of the brands that everybody always uses it in a damage build, and yet it can only today have yellow mods in it. Every piece that holds a mod, it's like, why would I want that?
Right. Yeah.
If I'm focused on damage, I'm going to want crit hit or crit chance on that piece, right? And so it's like, it's cool that we'll be able to put whatever mod we want in any mod slot. I think that's a good decision. I'm happy about that.
Yeah,
and it's not a game
cool.
changer, but it's just a nice quality of life QOL change, you know.
Yeah, so. No, absolutely. So I think that's kind of cool. So yeah, those are the two announcements. It wasn't anything major, but I just thought it would be kind of interesting to cover that since we've talked about Breakpoint. We played that a couple of times, and Division 2, the other game in our rotation, but not as big as the DLC that we're currently going through.
Correct. And year 2 news for this game, I think, is expected next week.
That would make sense.
So, they've been hyping this, do this, and then we'll get the hype train rolling again, and they'll, come out with.
You don't think they'll let the dust settle for a couple weeks? You think they'll announce year 2 stuff next week?
I think they will, honestly, because this completes the season pass,
right?
And man, if I'm trying to earn money to put into development dollars for year 2, I'm going to want to sell a second season pass.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That makes sense. Yep, absolutely. So
I would not anticipate that they will. I don't know that they'll announce all of it next week, but I think some of it for sure. I think they'll be on it.
Yeah, well, they'll probably do what they did with this one before. Is they'll show you the year and they'll talk about there's going to be X number of DLCs, these events throughout the year and stuff like that. And
yep,
which is kind of what they did when they introduced the year 1 stuff. So that'd be kind of cool. It'd be kind of cool if they do something like that.
I would not complain.
Mm-mm. No, definitely not. News is
how
good
are
news,
you?
Right?
Since you are you always represent. Well, how do you represent yourself?
We call them the average gamer. Is that what we usually say?
Super cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Super cool.
Since you are super cool, and
sorry, just the way you reacted to that, Burt, just made me chuckle. Yeah. Okay.
It was perfect. It was brilliant. On account of your being super cool, how are you feeling about a gear score increase? Negan and I talked about it a little bit last week, but you weren't with us last week, so I'm interested to hear how are you feeling about
for Borderlands?
Yeah, for Borderlands.
I'm not really crazy about it, honestly. I mean, I can see the new content, but it just feels like we had and I haven't played this a lot, but it just feels like we had a gear score increase yesterday. I mean, why are we having to regrind for all this stuff?
I think that might be the consensus. I mean, again, for some builds, it's like it's a big deal. It allows you double.
I mean, I'm still trying to get. Of course, I power leveled my Moe's, and she's up to she's at level 60 now. But for those of us, and not saying anything about you guys because you guys aren't totally not the no lifers, but you've definitely had the opportunity to put more time into this game than a lot of folks. But I have just unlocked the last slot in Moe's and was working on power level on her. And all of a sudden, you got to go back to square one and kind of, as we say over on this coast, lick your calf again because we didn't get it right the first time.
Yeah. Well, it took me an hour just to clean out my level 60 gear, right? And I've spent a lot of time amassing that. One of the other guys from the Discord we belong to, he and I were talking about it on Discord today a little bit, and I compared it to watching somebody tear down your house. It's like, depends on how hard you worked at getting the gear you had, but it hurts. It
does. Yeah.
It's painful. Painful.
I mean, there was a lot of love for Yellow Cake, and some folks were just making it work in some builds with the prior to this update and this gear score increase. And I know they want to. It kind of almost feels like Destiny, which I know is a sore subject, but you get some things in Destiny like the Mountaintop or the Recluse or whatever that you put a lot of time in, and all of a sudden they decide for you that you can't use that in the game, all the while they're telling you to play like you want or play how you want, which I'm not saying this is what Borderlands is doing, but my goodness, it does touch a nerve.
Well, and thankfully, Borderlands never makes the claim of play any way you want. There, at least it's not a slap in the face like, oh, play the way you want and then we're not going to let you. But I agree. I mean, I think if, here's what I'll tell you. I would feel a lot better since they said this was going to be the last Gear Score update for a while, which I hope it is. Like, and when I say a while, I mean 6 months minimum, probably longer. Like, I would be happy if this was the last Gear Score increase forever, and they just add more cool content.
Yeah, I've never figured that out. Add more weapons and content. Don't make you grind for, another 5 levels? Good God, what's that mean? 5 levels? That's just a pain.
It's 5 more gears, 5 more points into your skill tree.
Right.
I would have felt better today if it had been 15.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, just if I'm going to redo this, just let me triple capstone, man. Like, what are you holding back for? You know what I mean? Like,
or don't grind. Let's not do this 5 levels at a time.
Now, again, I'm going to take them at their word. They're saying this is it. Maybe it'll be it for a year, and in year 3 they'll triple capstone everybody and let everybody just go ham on it, and I guess that would be fine. But
well, and you mentioned Destiny 2 and stuff like that. Destiny 2 does some pretty huge updates and level increases there, but the difference I think with Borderlands is it's very clear how to get to the next level.
Oh yes, definitely.
Where Destiny does the whole kind of hiding behind the curtains and stuff on how to get to the next level or what the actual next level is. In Borderlands 3, 65's the cap. Period. There is no hard cap. There's no soft cap. There's no, secrets. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious cap. So that's kind of cool how they did it.
But they're doing it every 15 minutes.
Right. That's right. So it does make it a little more annoying.
Well, right now, yeah, you're basically looking at a level cap increase once a quarter. Because we're getting new DLC once a quarter, and so it does feel like it is once a quarter. We're gonna start this whole train over again, and it is a little defeating if you're the type of person who's trying to really min-max builds in this game.
Yeah,
I think, and if you're the type of player who wants to be able to play on Mayhem 10. It can be pretty defeating, right? Because you may just finally get yourself there to where you're pretty comfortable on Mayhem 10, and then they bump the level cap increase, and it's like, boom, I got nothing.
And honestly,
I got to start all over.
That's this guy right here.
Except for the fact that I will say, like, I'm still running a level 60 complex route in this build right now, and that's my primary gun, because I don't have a level 65 one yet. Not at least with the anointment I need. And I'm still killing stuff plenty strongly. It's not like I'm not getting the job done.
Well, and really, honestly, you got to try harder to get a complex route. I don't think you're trying hard enough to get a new one.
Bro, I don't even want to... Uncool. Uncool.
I thought it came with the new DLC.
I got 2. I don't know what you're worried about, Burt. I don't know where you're looking.
Apparently not in the right place. Evidently. But it is it's annoying when you can't find the gun you want and your whole build revolves around it. So there's that. But I am able to make it work. It's not like I can't make it work. I'm just not shredding through it at a rapid pace. I'm sure I'll get over it in the next week.
Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll get through this too.
We'll get through this too.
I don't know. You could be like me and still belly aching about Destiny vaulting weapons, 6 months after they said they were.
But they haven't done it yet, right? It hasn't happened yet.
I feel like the guy's still pissed off about Game of Thrones.
Don't even get me started on Game of Thrones, man. Don't even do it.
It when is that? That update's coming in November, right? Because now that's the
Yeah, they pushed it back, and I'm wondering, and I can't believe you two geeks aren't talking about the new Xboxes, but I'm wondering if they didn't know that so far ahead of time.
Oh, I think they did.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the big gaming news from the week, right? So we got
Right.
2 weeks, and then we
Confirmation, right?
can 2 weeks, and we can pre-order our Xbox Series X's for those of us who are getting them, and $500 is the mark.
Yep.
Not,
and there's two
Shoot me
versions.
another invite.
There's the S version, which
Back
is what,
in.
$2.99 or something like that.
Yes.
So if you didn't want the fancy dancy, all the cool stuff in the new system, why you wouldn't is beyond me. But
here's and I'm getting the X, but here's the why you wouldn't. If you decide you want to get the PlayStation 5, you can get both of those for
$100 more than you'd spend on one.
And with assuming the PS5 comes out at whatever I think it's going to come out at, you could get that and get your 4K disc drive in the PS5 and play your games on the Xbox One. Not saying that's a good idea or I'm going to do that. I'm just saying that's a possibility.
Yeah, you could
X, I think.
You could in theory get the Series S and the all digital PlayStation 5 for theoretically $600.
Yeah.
Theoretically. PlayStation hasn't announced any numbers yet, but everybody expects that their lower model will match the 300, and their higher model will match the higher number. And in theory, that would mean, yes, you'd have the ability to get both for $100 more. That said, the Series S does not play in 4K. So
right, yeah, they've turned it down a little bit.
And I don't think the all digital PlayStation is necessarily going to play in 4K either. So not at least if you want locked frame rates. So if your thing is, I want 4K, or in the case of Series X, eventually it has the ability to play in 8K. As that gets further adopted, it has the 8K capability. Then you want the Series X. And
officially, from the average standpoint, is get the X now, save up, and get the low-end PlayStation 5 if you want to do the exclusives.
That would probably be my recommendation, just because if you're not people make a lot out of those exclusives, right? And I can't remember if either you guys have PS4s, but I have a PS4, and we have, all the exclusives that you would want to have for it. But man, they're all very story-driven linear games, right? So, and they take tons of time. And it's a certain style of game that, you kind of got to be into the mood for. The bulk of them are. God of War might be the one exception to that, but, Last of Us and all those games, they're very linear story-driven games. That's not to say they're not fun. It's just to say they require a ton of time commitment. They're not about multiplayer gaming. So I feel like half of why we enjoy gaming is because we enjoy gaming with each other. It's like if that's your jam,
right?
Those exclusives, then good for you. They're just not really. They're not my jam enough to make it a necessary purchase on day one.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I like the multiplayer aspects of mostly Xbox games and stuff like that. And even Microsoft's still doing. I think you did this with one of your Xboxes, didn't you, Burt? Where they have the pass version where you can pay $30, $40 a month and you get the Xbox plus the Ultimate Pass and stuff like that. So, I haven't heard Sony doing anything like that. And actually, speaking of the Game Pass stuff, they also announced this week that EA Play is coming to Ultimate Pass.
Right.
Yep.
So there's that aspect of it as well. For those that don't have that, so I don't know. Does you have EA Play? Don't you, Ghost? I thought you said you had it before.
I have it as well.
Yeah,
okay.
I do. Yes.
Gotcha. And you get full access to all the games that drop, or do you use it still? Because they talked about Madden, like Madden 21 or whatever it is. You only get 10
I haven't
hours worth
even
of
looked.
playtime.
Yeah, Madden 21's a shit show. I haven't even looked at that one, but play some UFC stuff.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I mean, I pay right now $6 a month, which is worth it. With Ultimate, it's totally worth it. So,
Gotcha. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun on how they're doing that as well. Definitely going to the subscription model more and more. Everybody's going to it, so
I think that's what's gonna put Xbox over the top. Honestly, is Game Pass Ultimate.
I agree with that. The EA thing, I have it on new games. Negan, you get a discount, 30%.
Oh, okay.
And then once a game is like 8 months old, it goes into the EA Game Pass thing. Yeah, the vault.
Yeah.
So no. The vault means you have access to it. But so they have like
a trigger word now is vault.
Between 8 and 12 month exclusivity where you have to buy it, but you get a pretty healthy discount if you're, wanting that. And my kids love it. I mean, I have that one really for my kids, like Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront, and games like that. My kids love them. Totally worth it on that front, to have that. Like, you figure for what that game, for what copies of Battlefront and Battlefront 2 would cost, I'm getting a whole year of everything EA has to offer.
Right, definitely.
Yeah, not so much in the console war thing, but if you are, I think Microsoft is going to win this one in the cloud, not on the entertainment center.
That is probably true. I think that's probably accurate.
Yeah, I agree. All good stuff.
But for whatever reason, I do like the form factor of the PlayStation 5 more than I like the Series X.
Yeah, and we'll have to see what the deal is there, because I think a lot of that is function over form. I mean, if the things they're saying are true, you'll be able to, really actually legitimately expand your Series X over time, with plug-in pieces to make it better and faster. And that's a different, that requires a different design ethos when you're going to do that.
Yeah, they have made a big deal about that as well. It's true. Making it more like a computer aspect of it, so you can plug and play certain things.
Yep.
So a giant world made of meat.
Yes, there's a lot of meat.
Definitely made on the West Coast.
It's got to be killing you, Negan. Got to be killing you.
It is. I'm super uncomfortable, man. I want a vegetarian version. All right. Like the first boss fight already?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, what's his name?
Brick.
He was on our side last time.
So wait, were we the assholes?
No, this is in Krieg's mind. So, guy, like it's not this isn't reality.
So Negan, now where are you at? Are you seeing them fires?
We're not seeing them. We're having just really bad air quality. Yesterday was really bad as far as a nice orange glow. It was dusk all day.
Yeah, I saw some pictures.
Yeah. If you can see some pictures of what they took around San Francisco and the Golden Gate Bridge yesterday, it's super creepy looking. Creepy as fuck, as some of the people say. It's definitely weird. So no, we're fine. I'm not in any danger of evacuation or anything like that. So, but West
Thank
Coast.
God, I might need to level up.
The whole West Coast is on fire now. Oregon is also on fire too.
Has it made it up to Washington yet?
I don't think so. I haven't heard as much in Washington as I have. I just know we have friends and stuff in Oregon. Well, my daughter's in Oregon too, so she's been sending us pictures from where she's at. And apparently Portland's in a state of emergency because of it. You pick me up too, Burt? You're in the roll? Thank you.
So apparently Brick is immune to shock damage.
Yes, I noticed that.
That doesn't really work with my build, since it's a shock damage build. So I'll focus over here on Mordecai.
All right, I'll use this chaos I got for Mr. Brick.
Y'all are about to get smacked by him.
Yep, got me.
Oof.
All right, I'm going to try and pick you guys up. Nope. That is going to be game over for us, guys.
Well, shall we wrap it up for tonight, Burt? Review our
Shield.
beers and drinks. First boss is down.
Yeah, we definitely should, Negan.
I mean, we can still stream us doing this, but let's make the official ending and go from there.
We'll make the official ending. And I'm even good with just concentrating on the DLC for a minute. What are your initial impressions, though? I'm interested to know what your thus far initial impressions. That was a very bullet spongy boss. That was unpleasant.
Yes.
I
think they've upped the difficulty a little bit because I even went down a couple times just with the mobs going through here.
Right.
So they've upped the difficulty a little bit, which is good. I think it's a challenge because the last couple Bounty of Blood and stuff wasn't overly challenging. It was a good storyline, but it wasn't super challenging necessarily.
It was pretty easy. Yes, that's true story.
And we did the same thing we did here. I mean, I've already leveled up my character to 65. I think you did as well, Burt. So even with 65 level characters, it's still a little challenging, which is good. I like it. So far, so good. What does Ghost think?
Number 2 behind Bounty of Blood. I like the storyline better. Not so much I agree with the content of the loot drops and everything else, but I guess the investment I think is better in Bounty of Blood.
Yeah, I wonder if part of that's because we were talking and stuff like that. We were having focused on the game, but yeah.
No, we talked all the way through Bounty of Blood. I just think you were better invested in that one.
Oh, okay.
My opinion.
I think I really loved the narrator aspect of Bounty and Blood. I thought that was just it was so and I think that's probably what the difference is here. Like this seems like it's good. I'm guessing I'm really, really gonna enjoy it. And it seems funny, it's witty, and I think it's cool. I think it's gonna be very cool. But Bounty and Blood did such a great job pulling in like the spaghetti western thing and then the writing was brilliant and the voice acting was great. It's like it all just kind of came together there for me. So it's hard to beat that from a storyline standpoint.
Right. It'll be cool to see how they do it with the Psycho Krieg and the Sane Krieg and how those play off each other. And
yeah,
some of the obviously Psycho clearly has the way he talks and the funny things he says that Sane Krieg is going to translate. So
yeah, I think it's going to be good. It has big shoes to fill. Quite honestly, I mean, all of the DLCs have been good. The last one was probably the best, in my opinion, of all of them up to this point. This has big shoes to fill. So, with that, Negan, how'd you feel about your beer?
The Einstuck.
Yes, your Icelandic several month old Icelandic, probably slightly stale.
Yeah. Well, it didn't taste stale. It did not taste. No? It didn't have that bitter beer staleness to it. So it actually is pretty good. I'm glad I have another one in the fridge because this is actually pretty good. Very smooth, very crisp, very refreshing. It definitely has the wit beer feel to it. The orange peel and coriander, very subtle, very refreshing, very nice. I like it. Probably, actually, I put this on top of my list. About 8 or 9 out of 10. I'd definitely get this one again, and would highly recommend it. Einstuck, if you can find it. Icelandic white ale. So, what do you think of your beer tonight, Burt? Your s'mores stout?
Yeah, it's again, the name on this one is Borden Street S'mores milk stout. You know what, man? It was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, pretty good. Milk stouts I feel like that's it goes in the category like of standard pale ales, right? Like I love Sierra Nevada pale ale, and no matter who else makes a pale ale, I have a hard time accepting it as better than Sierra Nevada. This falls into that same bucket. Like it's very, very good, but Left Hand makes a great milk stout. And I've always when I think milk stout, I think Left Hand milk stout. This is close, but it's not quite as good as Left Hand milk stout. Gotcha. So okay. I'm going to say See, to me, Left Hand Milk Stout is like a 9.5. It's one of my favorite beers of all time. I'm going to call this one like a solid 7.5. So not bad at all.
Not bad. Not bad at all. And Ghost, what'd you think of your Bud Light over there?
Bud Light.
Totally American.
American, good.
But with a little Johnny Walker, it goes well. You got to wash it down with some good scotch.
So it tasted great. It was not less filling. That's
not less filling, but because I had scotch and it was totally American, I can wear a skirt and still feel at peace.
Good.
That's important.
Which makes Negan happy. Yeah, I can live in California now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Good. More than welcome. Come on over. All right. Well, good. Got some news out of the way. Got some gameplay out of the way. Anything else? Anything we missed?
Nope. We got exciting stuff to look forward to in the next couple weeks.
Totally so. Next couple of months, actually, with the new consoles coming out.
Yeah, we got a lot of fun stuff coming up. And since we're all, well, most of us at least are still stuck in our houses with pandemic, that's all good news.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. A lot of good news, folks. It's going to get better from here.
There we go. What you say? It's still 2020.
It's a weird year.
Except for Negan, because he said that.
That's right. As soon as you say something like that, 2020 is going to come back and kick your ass.
Might be true. That might be true. Normally, I would argue with that line of thinking, but it actually might be true.
That's right. So, keep that in mind, folks. Just saying.
Don't get too cocky.
That's right.
Shoot.
The Traveler. That's right. We just took out the Traveler. Oh no.
Good job, Good job.
Yeah.
Borderlands took out Destiny.
Well, we're going to call it a night from here, and we're going to go get the moon, apparently. It's one of those only times you can make statements like that. We're off to go get the moon, and that, I guess, is that. So, Negan, you have to sign us off.
All right, everybody. See ya.